Hi guys, welcome to the book of Philippians. You've got 2 weeks in this incredible book. Take your time in this book. Even though we've given you 2 weeks in the course, have fun in the book, journey through the book, write journal through the book, write scriptures that really come out of the book. Meditate on the scriptures. Let this book impact your life. You can take 4 weeks to do this book, but remember, you're journeying through the one book at a time so you can see themes and pictures and ideas that Paul wants to present. This incredible book was written by Paul, 61 AD. Paul is in fact in prison in Rome. If I was going to write you a letter and you received a letter from me, and I was showing you photos of me on the beach in the Bahamas, and I was laid back, and those Instagram shots of my knees with the water, and then I said to you, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. You're not going to take any authority from that book. You're going to be like, of course you're going to rejoice because you're on the beach in the Bahamas. Not so with Paul. Paul is in fact in prison when he is writing this book. And even though from that situation of prison, from that situation of house arrest in Rome, from that situation, he literally says to you, I want you to rejoice. It's literally a book of saying, I'm rejoicing, now you rejoice. Again, this book has a book of joy. Joy is mentioned 16 times in the book. If I wrote a letter to you from prison, I do not think I would mention the name joy. I think I would be whinging and complaining. I would be self-pity, woe is me. Not so Paul. He's like, rejoice in the Lord. He's saying, he's facing death. Let me show you open up your Bibles to Philippians. Let me show you that this isn't just him with faith knowing that he's going to get out. This situation is in fact dire for Paul. Look at what Philippians 1:20. And it says this. Sometimes when you read these, you don't quite understand what he's saying. When you realize where he is, you will understand what's happening. In 1:20, it says this, I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death. He's saying, you know what, if I live, then I want to exalt Christ. But if I die and I end up dying in this prison and I end up being martyred, then you know what? Christ will be exalted in that situation. That is an incredible leader, an incredible declaration of Philippians. As you read this book, you're going to see these incredible declarations. Let me read another to you. But even if I am being poured out like a drink offering on the sacrifice and service coming from your faith, I am glad and rejoice with all of you. So you too should be glad and rejoice with me. Again, he's not sitting on the beach in the Bahamas. He's in prison and he's rejoicing. So no matter what circumstances you're in today, you can rejoice because Paul can rejoice in these circumstances. This is to the church at Philippi. He loves this church. When we get through the New Testament, there's going to be some churches that he's a bit cranky with, and you can tell in his tone of the letter. In Corinthians, he's quite cranky. In Galatians, he's really cranky. But in this letter, it's a letter of friendship. He is literally warm. He calls them beloved. He's talking about rejoicing. It's a letter to Philippi is a Roman colony. It's got retired centurions in it, and he's writing this letter of joy. Again, guys, this is an incredible letter. Let me show you some other scriptures. Oh, actually, I want to read something. If you ever get stuck in a book and you're like, I don't really understand that, grab a commentary. I like the Tyndale New Testament commentaries because they're easy reading, but they do go a little bit deeper into the book. I was studying, when you read your commentary, you can read the first chapter, which is the introduction, goes through the historical context, and then you actually pick and highlight specific verses that you can go through. I want to read you this commentary on Paul in prison. It says this. The value of this fact lies surely in its clear indication that Paul was enabled to rejoice in the most trying circumstances of his captivity. The example of a man whose life is filled with joy and his exhortation is to rejoice in the Lord do not proceed from some ivory tower of peace and security. On the contrary, the writer is Paul the prisoner, who is awaiting news which may spell his death, and one can, with a little sympathetic imagination, share the tension behind these verses. He is this incredible man that is writing a book of joy to you and me. So as you read Philippians, enjoy the book, have a ball, highlight scriptures.